Poole gets it off. Banks it in!
You guys aren't going to believe some of these Jordan Poole performances. Let's kick it right off with number 15. Jordan Poole is just a few years into his NBA career, but he's already put together a number of strong performances. Starting off this video with something small, back in February of this season, Poole and the Golden State Warriors took on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Poole scored only 11 points, but he added on 8 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2 steals for the night. He also shot 62.5% from the field, missing just 3 shots all night. To make everything even better, Poole was instrumental in helping his team overcome the Thunder and beat them by 12 points. Number 14. Moving on to a game between the Warriors and the Washington Wizards now, this was also a game that happened this current NBA season. Poole didn't shoot very well from the floor this time, but his stat line was pretty darn good when you look at it. He scored 26 points, had 6 rebounds, and 2 assists. However, the big impact he had was on the defensive end, where he picked up 3 steals. Unfortunately, Poole and the Warriors lost this game in the end, but his defensive impact did not go unnoticed. Number 13. Back in 2021, Poole went off against the Charlotte Hornets. He played just 32 minutes of game time, but that was all he needed to stuff the stat sheet. He finished the game with 31 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and 4 steals. Not to mention that he knocked down 11 out of the 21 shots he attempted that day. Charlotte had no answer for him in that game and seemingly kept losing track of him defensively. This was a major reason why they lost to Golden State by 22 points. Number 12. Poole didn't just take his phenomenal play out on the Hornets though, he went at it when the Boston Celtics came to town too. This has started to become a trend for Poole, but he usually tends to score about as many points as he does minutes, which should tell you all you need to know about him as a player. In this game, he registered 34 minutes and dropped 29 points. He also had 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and a block. He shot 50% from the field that day, but the most impressive part of all of it was that he never turned the ball over, not once. It's pretty rare to see that nowadays. Number 11. This game is only impressive because Poole set out to do one thing: score the basketball. Granted, it wasn't one of his most explosive scoring nights, but man, was he dangerous when he touched the ball here against the New Orleans Pelicans. He dropped 26 points in just 28 minutes with only 1 turnover on the day. The catch was that the rest of his stat line went as followed: 0 rebounds, 1 assist, 0 steals, and 0 blocks. I mean, hey, he shot 66.7% from the field and scored nearly a point for every minute he was out there, so I think he did okay. Number 10. This next game was against the San Antonio Spurs. Poole dropped a cool 28 points this evening alongside 5 rebounds and 3 assists. He got 11 out of his 21 shot attempts to drop on top of that. Unfortunately, Golden State wound up losing this game by 2 points at the very end, but it certainly wasn't due to a lack of effort from Poole. Number 9. Sometimes the shots just aren't falling like you'd like, but as long as you keep shooting, it doesn't end up bad. Poole had a pretty mediocre shooting night in this one against the Spurs, but he still managed to score 31 points, playing in 34 minutes, and he added on 6 rebounds and 5 assists for good measure. He also only turned the ball over once in this game. This time, Golden State was able to walk off with a victory on the road against San Antonio. Number 8. This next matchup is eerily similar to the last. The Warriors were playing against the Utah Jazz and needed all the offensive help they could get because Steph Curry was out. It was up to Poole to pick up the slack and become the primary ball handler on this offense at all times. He stepped up and scored 31 points, had 6 rebounds and 6 assists along with a block. He could have improved upon his shooting efficiency a little bit more, but for a young guy to be filling in for Curry at this stage in his career and putting up 30 plus, that's a win in my book. And speaking of wins, Poole's performance was enough to carry Golden State above Utah for the victory in this one. Number 7. This next matchup comes against the Detroit Pistons. This was early on in the current season when not many people were thinking about Poole as a primary scorer, and that's when he changed everybody's minds and proved that he could be great this season. He dropped 32 points in just 40 minutes of action and added on 7 rebounds and 2 assists. Now, what was even more impressive was that he was only taking really good shots. He actually knocked down 13 of his 22 attempts, which was about 59% shooting from the floor. If the league didn't know who Poole was at that point, this was the game that put him on the map. Hey, before we head on to this next performance, make sure to take a minute and smash that subscribe button down below to see more of our content in the future. I've heard that Poole might come around and drop 50 points on your favorite team if you don't subscribe. Anyways, let's get right back into the video with number 6. A few months after the last game we talked about came this one against the Miami Heat. And in my opinion, this was one of his most impressive outings yet because of the sheer efficiency that he had throughout the night. In just 26 minutes, Poole dropped 32 points. He also had 2 rebounds and 5 assists and only 1 turnover. Look a little deeper into the stat sheet and you see that he hit 12 out of his 17 shot attempts, and that's 70% shooting from the field. So to recap, Poole scored 32 points in 26 minutes, turned it over only once, and shot over 70% for the game. I think that's a pretty good game all around. Number 5. The efficiency just keeps on getting better and better with Poole, which is why these games are ranked higher up on the list. This match was against the Denver Nuggets. Poole's stat line included 32 points, 3 rebounds, and 7 assists. Oh, and did we mention the minutes here? Well, you guessed it, the total was nearly identical to the number of points scored with 34 minutes played. He shot 57.9% from the field, but all that combined wasn't enough in the end though, as Denver narrowly escaped with a victory over Golden State. Number 4. Moving forward, we've got the Warriors taking on the Toronto Raptors. This was hands down his most effective night of basketball when it comes to shooting. He didn't force a single shot. He was patient and he waited for any opportunity that fell into his lap and then struck whenever possible. He played in 31 minutes and ended up scoring 33 points. On top of his scoring, he added on 4 rebounds and 4 assists, so he wasn't just standing there playing a catch-and-shoot role for the offense. Poole connected on 10 of his 13 shot attempts, good for 76.9% shooting. And for a guy to play over 30 minutes and score over 30 points, also having 76% shooting from the field, is just phenomenal. Number 3. This is a great Poole game, but not because of his scoring. When the Warriors went up against the Los Angeles Lakers without Steph in the lineup, Poole knew he was the guy who had to take charge. He went out there and played as the primary ball handler, scoring 19 points but adding on 4 rebounds and dishing out a career-high 11 assists. He only turned the ball over 4 times and shot an efficient 46% from the field. Just an overall great day for the young guard who was thrust into a much larger role that night. Number 2. Getting down now to his best performances to date, this one against the New Orleans Pelicans comes to mind. This was a game that tied his career high in points scored with 38. He scored all those points in only 33 minutes of action and also had 4 boards and 6 assists. He turned the ball over just twice and shot 54.5% from the field. Nobody knew how to defend him in this game, and he helped the Warriors pull away with a 3-point win at the end of the day. Number 1. Now, the only reason that this one narrowly beats out that last game is because he did more overall. Poole, as he usually is, was effective and efficient here against the Phoenix Suns. Now mind you, this is the same Phoenix Suns team that had the best record in the league this season. It didn't matter though. Jordan went out there and dropped 38 points, had 9 rebounds, 7 assists, and only 2 turnovers. Plus, he shot exactly 50% from the floor to tie it all together. Sadly, the Suns did end up prevailing in the end, although Poole's performance against one of the best teams in the last decade is definitely something to be excited about for the future. Hey, that does it for this video on Jordan Poole's best games to this point. Make sure to click the video that's showing up on your screen right now to keep watching more of our stuff.